All right, guys. So yesterday, Bitcoin dipped below 100k. That's crazy. It's almost like we know exactly what's going to happen before it even happens. However, at the time of recording this video, it's now back above 100k. But so let's look at what exactly is going on and what are the possibilities of the dip continuing. What I think would happen to the price of Bitcoin moving forward. Are we still bullish or are we bearish? Because prices has recovered pretty good from about 98k yesterday to right now at 101,000. So that's a pretty cool recovery. But the question is, what next? What next? What is Bitcoin going to do next? I know a lot of people are starting to wonder, are we in a bear market? Is it over for Bitcoin? I'll be discussing all of these things in today's video. So if that's something that you're excited about, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, share, and do all that nice stuff. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so this is Bitcoin on the 1 week time frame, and this chart is what I was looking at the last time that I made a video talking about this. So I think right now we can see that the M formation that I was talking about is kind of looking like it could be possible, so that bearish engulfing that I'm talking about, so it's starting to look like it could be playing out right now. So the question is, how long would this continue? We've just started a new week and we are looking bullish short term, but the question is, would this week close above here? That would be the question, above 105,500. I think that would be the major question, is whether Bitcoin is going to break above this level. And I think this level has been marked. Yeah, this is the point of my short entry, which I've already taken some profits on anyway. But here I'm looking at Bitcoin retracing here, and let's see what happens at 105,000. I think that's the major area to look out for right now, for if the trend is going to continue in the upwards direction. However, there is also something that we need to consider. We also just broke below this huge buyers that came to the market. We actually took their, a lot of people got liquidated. That's why you can see this long wick here. I believe that a lot of longs were liquidated at this point, causing prices to dip further lower. So that's exactly what happens. Like I always say, the market is always moving towards where liquidity is. So if a lot of people had their long positions here, being swept out would have been really, really easy if there was just a little bit of fear in the market. So yeah, and we also have this to look out for, which is this MACD here. Now this MACD is about to cross. I think the saving grace for Bitcoin would be if this MACD does not cross, because that would now end up doing something like this that we did earlier in the cycle, in around January, right? I think this was when BlackRock came in, yeah, somewhere around here. So if we can do something like that, that'll be fine. But then again, the war that is going on is not helping matters. There's fear in the market right now, and these things are expected. There will always be a catalyst to cause prices to drop. I don't know why it's always like that, but that's just it. Then we also have this stochastic RSI, which I was talking about earlier last week, and I was saying that this MACD, this stochastic RSI blue line has to cross above in order to give us something like this M formation, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Although we still have, I think we have up to here, maybe the 50% level to even look out for before we can confirm that it's going to get to the bottom of the momentum. But I think so far this does not look good. At least you have to be honest with yourself on that. It doesn't look too good right now, and that's part of the things that we've been talking about for a while now. I just realized that a lot of people don't like to look at the facts, right? Simply because you love Bitcoin does not mean it's not going to drop. It's a market, people buy and sell, all right? And you have to learn to be unbiased about this, because I mean, why are you vexed because someone is saying that Bitcoin is going to drop? I think at the very least you should take it seriously and just listen to what the person is saying, and try to see if you agree or not. And if you don't agree, it is actually also fine. You don't have to take it personal. So let's go to something like the 1 day time frame. Now on the 1 day time frame is where there is a lot of interest right now. So as a matter of fact, it's pretty interesting on the 1 day time frame, and this is where the bulls may have a little bit of favor, so to speak. But here's the thing though. On the daily, there is a lot of possibilities here. Number one, the MACD here is beginning to flash a lighter red, which generally always indicates that the bearish momentum might be slowing down a bit. But another thing of concern for me is the fact that the time that this is happening is not when we are about to have a cross, right? It's just literally happening right in the middle of a downtrend, of a dump, right? So this means that this may not necessarily hold. That's what I'm trying to say. This may not necessarily hold as a reversal point. However, it is something to pay attention to, okay? Because we can also say the same thing even happened here. So it's something to watch out for. And as you can see, even when it happened here, right, when we started approaching a cross on the moving averages, we still ended up dropping some more, because that's just because the volume, the selling pressure is actually a lot. So buyers may not be able to keep prices up, or to compete with the sellers at this point. So that's why there will be a lot of sellers in the market. And it's the same thing that happened here. You can see once buyers came into the market, this also happened after a dump, a huge dump. Buyers came into the market, but they couldn't push prices above where sellers came into, and so prices dropped a lot lower. And it's possible that something like that could happen here again. Reason being that we actually did set new lows. So look at this. We had a move like this. We had this high here, then we had this low, we had a lower high, and then a lower low. So ideally we are likely going to establish another lower high, and possibly that would be the end of the move. Yeah, so I really hope that you can see what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you that we have a market structure set up here. We have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, we have a lower low, and we are potentially going to establish another lower high. So that's what I'm trying to say. So in that case, it's possible that prices would eventually respect market structure and then drop. So we could be clearing this liquidity here next, because we already swept this one here. Listen, for the fact that we swept this liquidity here, it means that prices are going to drop. That's like, should I say, a 70 to 80% guarantee. But I don't like saying these things, because it kind of gives the idea that I know exactly where the market is going. I don't know where the market is going. Okay, I am analyzing and I'm speculating. Do you understand? So but I think that for the fact that liquidity has been swept here, it's kind of a guarantee that prices are going to drop, because a lot of buyers, major buyers, will not be in a hurry to get into a long position again, anticipating that prices are going to go to new all-time high. So we are likely going to see more sellers come into the market, in my opinion. And people who were buyers before, or people who were sitting on the sidelines before, are likely going to want to come into the market and sell, because no smart money is going to be buying Bitcoin in these areas. Likely not. So if prices are going to drop further, we are going to have to see what happens with this momentum. Look at this stochastic RSI here as well. We already have a bullish cross, and it's aligning very well with this MACD here, which was why I ended up taking profits on my short position, just simply because of the fact that it is very, very possible that there could be a reversal. But obviously I'm going to take some more short positions for sure, because I'm thinking that this could get a lot worse, right? But now the question will now be, is the bull run actually over? I can't really say that for now, but what I would tell you is that I feel like I'm at a 60 to 70% conviction that the bull run might be over. And if buyers are going to come into the market at all. It may not last for too long, and we may not even be able to set a proper new all-time highs. That's what I think, but that may not be what will happen because I don't control the markets, like I like to say, even though some people think that I do. Now, if you look at this RSI on the weekly time frame, this one here, you can see very clearly that we are having, a downtrend. Basically, we are starting to build downtrend, and this is what the downtrend looks like. Rejection, possible rejection coming forward. So this is bearish. Now, on the on price action, we have prices going to the upside. A higher high here. So we have a bearish divergence. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is a bearish divergence, and for the fact that this is a bearish divergence and prices are starting to react now, it means that this could get crazy. An invalidation of this bearish divergence will be if this RSI is able to break above this trend line here. But if that does not happen and we keep getting rejection here, it's only going to get crazier for price action. We are not going to like that. It's somewhat similar to what happened in this one here. Then we started doing printing bearish divergence here, and look at what happened to prices. Eventually it dropped, right? Something like that. And it's also, if you just go back to the previous cycle, look at this here, right? Look at this bearish divergence that literally led to the top of the previous bull cycle. We had a higher high while we were establishing lower highs on the what they call it, on the RSI. And if you just look at this, you can't tell me that you don't think that we're in a similar situation from the previous cycle. Look at this here, right? We also had a divergence on the what they call it, on the MACD. And then look at this here. If you go to where we are currently, we are literally creating a divergence. Now, this divergence has not been confirmed yet because, like I said, there's still a possibility that we'll get a bounce here where we'll do something like this and prices will retrace upwards. But we've not gotten that yet, so we just have to conclude that this is, for now, looking like a divergence. So if we are getting these two signals on the weekly time frame, I don't think this looks good for the price of Bitcoin. If at all, it's not the best time to buy. You want to be looking for better buying opportunities, because this is looking like we could have a better buying opportunity. If you're bullish, if you say you don't want to ever be bearish on Bitcoin, at least consider the fact that this may not be the best buying areas. I don't need you to consider it anyway. If you want to consider it, you can, but I'm just saying that this is what it looks like, and it's something that is definitely worth paying attention to. Now, the bad part about it is that if this ends up dropping all the way to this level, then we can confirm that the bear market is actually active. Like I always say, anything below this trend line here, I really think is the end of the bull run at that point. I really think so. Like, for real, I really think so. And I'll feel really good that I'm able to take profits in crypto right at the top of the bull market. That would really be crazy, especially because not a lot of crypto traders out there on social media are actually talking about this. I see very few people talking about the possibility that this could be the end of the cycle as you know it. Most people who say that I'm wrong are always talking about fundamentals, the fact that we are in such a great area in the cycle. Institutions are buying. First of all, I even need to correct that. Institutions are not necessarily buying, they are trading right now. Institutions already bought. See where major institutions came in. I'm talking about BlackRock. Look, this is where they came in. All right, so they bought already and now they are trading. Do you understand? They are participating in the market, so don't get it confused. All right, and a lot of people are talking about ETFs, um, XRP ETF, this one ETF, Solana ETF. I really think that those things are not going to come this cycle, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, if you go to something like the lower time frame, which is, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that Bitcoin is starting to get, major bounces here as we are starting to move upwards, right? A correction is coming in. So, but this is an area to watch out for, which is where lots of sellers came to the market. You can see how long this 4-hour candlestick is, and it was literally the candlestick that swept these lows. So it is very important to watch out for. We could even, somebody, if you're not in a short position, this would actually be an area to start planning. Can be an area to start planning a short position from on the 4-hour. And if we go to something like let's go to the 1-hour. Right, on the 1-hour time frame, we are starting to see the market is reacting to this huge supply area. So it is definitely something worth paying attention to. And yeah, I think we just have to see what happens with Bitcoin moving forward from here. I can't confirm that the bull market is over yet because we've not broken below this trend line here at 84k right now. We can't say the bull market is over, but it is showing signs that it could be over. So that is what I'm trying to drive home with all of these videos that I've been making. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, if you want to see all of the trades that I'm taking, then you should definitely hop into my private group where you get to see all of the trades that I'm taking. It's just $3. It's just $3 per month, nothing too deep. Apart from this area of interest here, there is also this area at this point here, which is like a supply area to watch out for as well. This could also provide a better entry for Bitcoin, back to this area here. Just like I said, 105,000 is also an area to watch out for. So if this area ends up not being the major supply area, then this is where we want to be targeting for entries, somewhere around here, 105 again. But then it's possible that prices will never ever get there and will just establish lower highs somewhere here. You never can tell. But anywhere from this range, anywhere from let's just put it at anywhere that is below here, honestly, anywhere that is below this area for now, anywhere that is below here could still be a very good entry for Bitcoin. I'm telling you, for real, the market looks very exhausted and I don't think there are a lot of buyers anymore, at least right now. All right, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, share, and do all that nice stuff. I will see you in the next video. Bye.